Hi there. If you clicked on this video, you're probably someone who's very fond of Italy. Maybe you have visited this country in the past and you like it so much that you've decided you want to move there and live there. Maybe a teaching position just opened up and you decided you want to be adventurous and go and try it. Or maybe you just want to study abroad as a transfer student. Either way, we're going to cover everything you need to know in this two-part series. So let's get into it. So, first and foremost, before we get into the things that you need to know, I want to stress that it's very important that you visit a country before deciding that you want to live there. The way that TV or the media or sources online may make a country look could be completely different to how the country really is. So, if you visit there for a period of about 2 months or longer, you should be able to go through all the motions of life and decide whether or not you really want to live there. Now at this point you are probably asking yourself, why should I listen to this guy? What does he know? Well, I'm someone who's been living in Italy for the past 3 months, and while I may not be an expert and I haven't lived there for a long period of time, I do feel like I have some good experience. So let's get into the things that you need to know. So the first thing that you need to know about is food. Food in Italy is a bit more expensive than America, if that's where you're coming from. Also, if you want to buy foods there that are exotic, like if they're from America or from other countries, they're going to be more expensive. Usually about 4 or 5 times more expensive. Also on the topic of food, you want to keep in mind that the Italian people generally eat less than we do here in America, and at restaurants as well you will get smaller portion meals that are going to be more expensive. So keep that in mind before you come here. This isn't a bad thing if you're trying to lose weight. Now let's talk about cost of living. Cost of living in Italy is very expensive. I'll just say that. I am not fully informed about pricing all over the country, but I know that if you live in a major city, housing and apartments are usually going to be a lot more expensive. And it's going to be even more expensive if you want to live right next to the sea in a major city. So, we can meet at a compromise if we choose to live next to the sea in a smaller village. That will make it cheaper, and then for about €10 you can take a train into the major city to get all the things that you want. And if you absolutely have to live in a major city, you can find some more reasonable priced apartments and even small houses within the city. Alright, now let's talk about finding a job. Well, most of the people who get jobs in Italy get accepted into an English teaching job. And that's just what the majority of people do. This is a very high demand job in Italy, and if you sign up with an employer before flying there, you are more or less guaranteed a job there. A few things to keep in mind about English teaching jobs are that the pay for new teachers is going to be kind of sketchy, depending on whether you are teaching in southern Italy or northern Italy. In southern Italy, I know that a lot of new teachers complain about not getting paid on time and not getting paid what they're promised on the contracts. So make sure that's something you can deal with, and just know that it's going to be kind of a risk. So of course, always go with North Italy if you can. The weather's not going to be as nice, but it'll just be better all around. Also keep in mind that if you're coming here, if you're going to Italy to teach English, that you are doing that because you love teaching and because you have a passion for teaching and because that's a job that you like doing. I feel like a lot of people coming here from America are only going to Italy because they want to experience the country and not so much because they want to teach English. It's just something that they make the mistake of keeping in the back of their mind, but the reality is that that's going to be most of your life, is just teaching. And also with any job that has this many employees, there's going to be a lot of job competition. There's going to be hundreds of other teachers who have been teaching English in Italy for years, and they're going to be much more experienced. And of course, they will get the more desirable schools, the more desirable students, and the more desirable pay. Now, maybe you just want to move here and look for a job. I would highly recommend that you don't do that. This is a very risky plan of action because you are very unlikely to find a job other than teaching jobs if you're from America. Because most workers in Italy are very qualified, and it's a relatively small country with a lot of people living there, so there's going to be just that much more competition. If you want to separate yourself from other people when employers are looking for jobs, the only thing they're going to be looking at mostly is whether or not you are an English speaking person. So I would say that teaching English is the most realistic job option.